Hello and welcome to Alyssa Jean's Reviews, and this is my introduction video for my Star Trek Top 100, something that I'm going to be doing throughout the year of 2023, starting in May and continuing on until we get to number 1 in December. So the first thing I'm going to do is go through the rules of the top 100, and at the end I will go through the format again. I already kind of did in a different video, but I'll do that again at the end, the format of how it's all going to be divided up. But first, the rules, and we start with rule number 1. The first rule of the Star Trek Top 100 is we don't talk about this. I'm sorry, I can't tell. Anyways, so the actual first rule of the Star Trek Top 100 is that I will only be counting the 5 original Star Trek shows, what I like to refer to as the 5 legacy shows, although that term's going to get pretty confusing if they actually come out with Star Trek Legacy pretty soon. But for now, that's what I usually refer to them as. This is not the modern Trek shows. And it also does not include the animated series. You notice I only said 5. And the reason why it doesn't include the animated series is because there's nothing in the animated series that will make my top 100. Like, I didn't grow up with it. I didn't sit with it for years. I watched them for the first time like 3 years ago. And frankly, I think at best, those episodes are mediocre. And some of the ones that people think are all great, I think some of them suck. Like, I don't think the animated series is that great, so will not be in my top 100. That's why I'm saying 5 legacy shows. So we're saying the original series, we are saying Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. Those 5. Now, why am I not counting Modern Trek? Is it because I don't like Modern Trek and I think Alex Kurtzman has ruined Star Trek and whatever, blah, blah, blah? No, of course not. If you know my channel, you know that I'm very much a huge fan of Modern Trek. But I am not including it because it would be weird to include ongoing shows. So if I have episodes from Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1, and then Season 2 comes out, what am I going to do? Adjust to my top 100? Or those episodes just don't make the cut just because they weren't released in time? And then now, of course, Star Trek Picard is officially over, so technically I could include those episodes. Not sure that any of those would make my top 100 either, but in theory I could. But then that would be weird. 5 legacy shows plus Picard. So no, the line must be drawn here! So we draw it at the 5 original legacy shows, original series through Enterprise, and that is where the line is drawn. Now, I hope to do a separate Modern Trek Top 25 later this year. I'm going to wait for Strange New Worlds Season 2 and Lower Deck Season 4 before I would do that. So maybe toward the end of the year I would do that. But that's a separate list. This Top 100 is only those 5 original shows. I think you got rule number 1 down. Now let's move on to rule number 2. Rule number 2 is this top 100 is created by me, and therefore it is my opinion and my opinion alone. It's not based off of anything else. It's not based off on anyone else's opinion but mine. So there will be lots of things on here that people will disagree with. If you want to see an example of popular episodes that will not be anywhere in my top 100, you need look no further than my top 10 most overrated episode video that I did a few months ago, and I'll put the link to that at the end of this video. You know, at the end I have this little outro, and you know, there's links to certain videos. I'll make sure that one gets on there. So if you haven't seen that, you can see some examples of episodes that will not be in my top 100, even though other people like them. So just real quickly, a couple of examples of Voyager episodes: Dark Frontier, Tuvix, So what else? Anything with tribbles in it. You won't see anything with tribbles anywhere in my top 100. Tribbles are fine. I don't hate them. They're just overrated, and they will not be in my top 100. What else? Darmok is another episode. Just watch my overrated video, and you'll see popular episodes that will not be in my top 100. And there's actually probably some that didn't make that list that will just not be in my top 100 because I think they're overrated. Now, conversely, you can check out my top 10 most underrated episode list to see some examples of episodes that maybe aren't as popular that will probably be in my top 100. Although, some of the episodes on that underrated list are not in my top 100 either, so it's not necessarily a guarantee that they're in my top 100, but that just kind of gives you an idea. So you can check those videos out if you're curious at all of what how my top 100 might look a little different from others. And I just want to emphasize again that the top 100 sounds like a big number, but there's like I believe close to 700 total episodes, something along those lines. So this is still the cream of the crop, but it is the cream of the crop in my opinion. I should also add that there's a distinction between this is the best, I'm considering this the best episodes as opposed to just simply my favorite, and that seems like a weird distinction, but I have done videos where I call it the best, and I've done some where I've called it the favorite, and the difference is like big example is on my top 10 favorite original series episodes, I included Shore Leave. And that's because I like it, but not because I actually think it's good. I enjoy it. So here I'm going for what I, not only that I enjoy, but I actually think is good. Whereas Shore Leave is like a guilty pleasure episode. I think it's objectively bad, but I just have fun with it. That kind of episode won't be on my top 100, so Shore Leave sadly will not be here, even though it is on my top 10 favorite original series episode video that I did a couple years ago. So that's distinction. The top 100 best episodes by my opinion, and my opinion alone. Rule number 3, when it comes to two-parters, or three-parters, or any connected episodes, I will be using the Star Trek Enterprise rule, meaning the rule that I used in my top 20 favorite Enterprise episode video, as opposed to the Deep Space Nine rule, which I used in the top 20 Deep Space Nine episode video I did a couple years ago. So in that video, I counted anything that I thought was a two-parter as one. What Sacrifice of Angels, and what's that other one that comes before it, together as one. Whereas in Enterprise, I decided that anything that has separate titles would be separate entries. So, for example, those 3 Vulcan episodes in season 4, those would be 3 separate entries on my top 20. And that 3-part finale of season 3 in Enterprise, those are 3 separate entries because they all have different titles. However, an episode that has 2 episodes that have the same title, part 1 and 2, such as In a Mirror Darkly, part 1 and 2, Past Tense, part 1 and 2, Time Zero, part 1 and 2, not that Time Zero will be in my top 100, but just as an example, those will count as one. Best of Both Worlds, parts 1 and 2, one entity. That'll be one entry. So that will be number 58, whatever, together. But if they have separate titles, they will be separate entries. However, you will find that I might cheat a little bit and put 2 of them back to back in some cases, but they will still be separate entries. So that is how I'm going to parse that out. Different titles, different numbers. Same title with a part 1 and 2 in there, same numbers. That make sense? All right, let's move on to review the format, how I'm going to dispense these videos over the next several months through the end of the year. Okay, so I did already say this in another video, but I'm going to go ahead and say it again here. So this is how it's going to be dispensed. In the month of May, I will do numbers 100 through 76. Keep an eye on my channel for my calendar video when I'll give you the exact date. It's probably going to be the first or second Friday in May that video will drop. It will be number 100 through 76. Now, 25 is a lot of episodes to get through, so the format for that video will be, I will go through most of them very quickly. However, I have pre-selected 5 episodes out of those 25 that I just want to spend more time talking about. So I'll go through quickly, and then I'll stop and I will talk more in depth about a certain episode that I want to. I've selected 5. Just randomly, 5 that I want to talk about. So that's the video in May, number 100 through 76. In June will be numbers 75 through 51. We'll have the same exact format. I will have pre-selected 5 episodes that I want to spend more time on. The rest of them I'll try to go through relatively quickly. And then in July, same format once again for numbers 50 through 26. Another batch of 25 episodes. I'll do that same format where I'll pick 5 that I talk more in depth on, and the rest of them I'll go through pretty quickly. Then in August, we start mixing things up just a little bit because we're only going 25 through 11. So that's only 15 episodes. So in that case, I'm just going to spend just a little bit more time. I'm not going to probably stop and spend more time on one episode more than the others, just because there's going to be fewer episodes than in the other videos. So I will just spend a little bit more time in general on each of those. So that's 25 through 11. That's in August. Then in September, numbers 10 through 6. So that's only 5 episodes in one video, so I will spend a ton of time on each of those. My number 10, number 9, number 8, number 7, number 6. That should be a pretty long video where I'll just like really spend a lot of time on each of those 5 episodes. So then we get to the final stretch run in October, November, and December. The top 5. The top 5 will each have their own video dedicated just to that one episode. So in October, you will get my video for number 5 and number 4. 2 separate videos, 2 separate weeks in the month of October. And then in November, number 3 and number 2. And then you guessed it, in December will be my number 1. And it'll all make sense. It'll all be together. And I will put the previous entries in the description of each video. So in my, my number 75 through 51 video, I'll have number 100 through 76. And I'll just keep adding it as we go. So in each description of each video, you can just look at all the previous entries if you want. So that's how it's all going to go down. I'm very excited about this. Probably nobody cares about this as much as I do, but I'm a big list maker. Okay, I like making lists, so this is a big deal to me. So please indulge me, my top 100 over the next few months, starting with numbers 100 through 76 in May. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.